Okay, so once again I noticed there was some issues with the microphone. So this is kind of a redo of my Week 9 college football predictions and Week 8 NFL predictions against the spread. So I'm just gonna kind of do a slider kind of thing. So once again they're both gonna be on one video, so it's convenient for everybody. So I'm just gonna go over these really quickly because just so it's fast. So first pick, Michigan State minus 1.5 over Purdue. I just feel like the Spartans, I think they're going to respond after losing a rivalry game to Michigan. And plus, Purdue's coming off their biggest win in school history by just obliterating Ohio State last week. And I kind of feel like that's in their head, and I think that's still in the back of their minds. And I think that Michigan State will actually be able to keep their defense in the game this week, unlike Ohio State last week. So I think Michigan State has the weapons on offense to win the game for them, but I think the defense will be the difference once again, like it was against Penn State. Next pick, Kansas State plus 24.5 for Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I think they're going to make a run to the Big 12, probably win the Big 12, in my opinion. I feel like they can beat Texas in a rematch if they get there. But Kansas State plus 24.5, I feel like that's enough points where it's worth to take a risk on. And I'm going to do it this week. Kansas State plus 24.5. I feel like they're going to be able to stay in the game long enough to beat this 24.5 point spread. So, next pick, Navy plus 23.5. Kind of the same thing with Kansas State. I don't think they're going to necessarily win the game, but I think they'll be able to stay in there long enough. I think the triple option will be a challenge for Notre Dame, and Navy always plays Notre Dame tough. So, Navy plus 23.5. Next, Virginia minus 9. Virginia's kind of an underrated team in college football right now, and I believe they're going to have a good chance to beat Virginia Tech this year, but we'll see what happens. But first, they got to get past a team like North Carolina, and I think they're able to do that. So Virginia minus 9. And final pick, Florida plus 6.5 over Georgia. I feel like the Florida defense will be a difference in this game, kind of like it was against LSU, and I think Florida will win outright, as I had my predictions video earlier this week on Monday, which you can check that out. Alright, now the NFL. So my first pick is the Washington Redskins in a pick'em over the New York Giants. I just feel like the Giants are tanking right now. I feel like it's in their best interest to tank. I think the Redskins, they're quietly leading the NFC East right now. I think they're able to win that division if they can keep winning games. Because right now the Cowboys are struggling, the Eagles are struggling, and they got to get some leeway on the NFC East just in case either of those two teams, they get on a hot streak. Next pick, Indianapolis minus 3 over Oakland. The Raiders once again traded a first-round pick talent in Amari Cooper to the Cowboys this week, and I feel like John Gruden is just focusing on the offseason. I think it's in his best interest to tank at this point because clearly Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers going to come out of those two in the division. The Chiefs seem to be running away with the AFC right now, and the Chargers could be right behind them in that division. So I think it's in the Raiders' best interest to tank. I feel like it could start this week, Colts minus 3. Next pick, Green Bay plus 9.5 over the Los Angeles Rams. I think this is going to be the start of a Packers run a possible Packers playoff run. And it's going to be a good game here. Even if the Packers don't win this game, I think Aaron Rodgers will be able to keep the Packers in the game in the fourth quarter, and he will at least beat the 9.5 point spread. So Green Bay plus 9.5. That's my third pick of the spread this week for NFL. And my final one, the Minnesota Vikings in a pick'em over the New Orleans Saints. So this is going to be a rematch of last year's NFC Divisional Round matchup, which led to the big miracle play that Stephon Diggs had. But I don't think one's going to be required this week because Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Case Keenum, and I feel like he's going to be able to expose that Saints defense because the Saints defense has been inconsistent so far this season, especially with them giving up a lot of points and a lot of yards to Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I just can't really trust the Saints defense. I'm not sold on them yet. And I know the Vikings defense is kind of overrated, but I think it'll be an offensive battle. I think it's going to be a shootout, and I think the Vikings win in a pick'em. So I have 2 pick'ems this week for the NFL. But the best thing about a pick'em is you don't got to worry about a point spread. You don't got to worry about which team can win or lose by a certain amount of points. You just got to hope your team that you pick wins the game. I think the Redskins and the Vikings will win their games this week. So those are my picks this week. Comment your thoughts on my picks. If there's a game against the 3 you want me to predict that wasn't on here, leave in the comment section. I'll respond to you, and I'll see you next time.